Saturday, December 18th, 2021. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss the surprise new Louis C.K. special from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Available today on louisck.com for $10. Sorry. With your host, me, Joe LaRocca. All right. So, another Louis C.K. special. This is his second one released by him since being canceled, we'll say. This was, I didn't realize he played Madison Square Garden again. Jeez. Anyway, it opens with a Dylan song, like a Rolling Stone, which made me think a lot. And I'm not sure if I like that, but first thing I want to say is that I don't know how you feel about Louis C.K. I thought he was the greatest stand-up comedian I've ever seen. I've seen him live a couple times. I think his show is the greatest comedy show of its time period, and think it's brilliant. Obviously, did a few perverted things, but this is just the one thing I want to say. We venerate fucking Tiger King. You can get Tiger King telephone cases. You know what I mean? Just saying. I know he's in jail and all that stuff. Anyway, so he starts off, and you go, it's great because he's just got this big red letter sign behind him that just says sorry, but in lights. And it's funny because the last one was called Sincerely, so sincerely sorry. And he comes right out about talking about sex. His favorite sexual position is reverse cowgirl, but he's on top. Is what he says, which is great. It's good stuff. He's dressed like a high school shop teacher, and he's balding way more than before. It's almost like an older guy that we haven't seen in a few years. But guess what? It's still edgy and bold. And I thought this was awesome. I think it's better. I think it's the best stand-up comedy for sure that I've seen this year. I think it's better than the Chappelle one. And I told you I'm getting kind of upset with Chappelle. I like the few things he released after, kind of talking about the controversy and then him continuing to make jokes about trans. Like, I don't know. It didn't seem 100% right. Not that I redact my review by any means of that, but this is better than that, man, because it feels more sensitive to those things while still being incredibly transgressive and taboo in terms of its subject matter. And in the first, usually a stand-up does a few kind of easy jokes in the first 10 minutes and kind of gets the audience on their side before but he's going right into pedophilia and sex and taboos involved with that and the Boy Scouts. And he's like, of course, obviously I'm not going to do any of these jokes justice, but he's like, of course, Scout Masters. I shouldn't, because then I'm just going to say it wrong. But he's basically like, who else would want to take a bunch of kids out into the woods? He's like, I'm not saying that every Scoutmaster, Scout leader is a pedophile, but, maybe the best ones are. I'm not saying that. All right, I'm not going to do any more jokes of his, because maybe he's watching this. He says he watches a lot of YouTube now as he's an empty nester. His kids are off to college, and the girl he's dating is French and lives in France, and they can't really see each other because of COVID. So, yeah, he gets right in it. He does a big chunk on COVID and the problem. And, I thought it was great. He's still able to find comedy and make profound observations and stuff. It's all about that dancing between the lasers. And that's something about that I thought that guy Gillis did well. But that I thought Chappelle, was kind of wasn't as not as much as many didn't get the same amount of style points, but totally riding the line. Like when we used to say that that it was like a 9/11 every day because 3,000 people were dying of COVID in the United States or whatever. He gets into jokes about that it's like that. I don't know any comedian that would do these jokes in New York City in Madison Square Garden post being canceled. It's like, dude, this guy's got, maybe it's like now he's got nothing to lose, but he talks about overweight people being discriminated. Tells a story of a woman get an MRI at the zoo, which is true. And like he does a joke about trans people, but it's like it's not really at their expense. It's just bringing up like one of these ideas of inequality that I feel like Chappelle was getting at, but Louis did it in like, he just gets to the point really quickly, and it's just one of those things where less is more, you know, where he doesn't like dig deep into it. He just kind of grazes over it. And then he does get into like kind of the modern cis male kind of, we've become the stereotype of the like, of what the stereotypical gay person was, and like like a modern gay person is like obscene, you know, just like there's been a role reversal and stuff. It's like just these great observations that are totally true, you know, obviously in a broad sense, and fucking hitting the comedy like perfect. Like every joke, every word, every little facial expression is so good, and he doesn't have to jump around and do all, you know, it's mature in that sense. Not obviously he's doing ridiculous content to certain points, but he stole a bit. I'm calling you out, Louis, if you're watching this. You stole my bit, motherfucker. That Good Will Hunting, just because I'm from Boston, I teach film classes here, so I have to deal with Good Will Hunting. I have talked about that joke, so that idea. I mean, that like, wow, you know, where's the next great Matt Damon script? You know, like obviously everybody's good in it. Like he wrote it for himself, made himself the coolest guy ever. Who's like, I'm hunky, I'm good looking. I have all these friends. I'm street smart, but I'm also a math genius, you know? And he does this whole bit about, you know, how you like them apples. Like if he hadn't have liked apples, do you like bananas? Well, I got her number. Isn't that bananas? Relax, Odie. Sorry. All right. I'm going to have to wrap it up soon. Odie's barking. But yeah, he talks about death and getting old. Not just dying, but like the process of accepting dying. And he's like, aren't you just glad that the same people aren't around? Because it's hard dealing with people who were born in like the 50s going, you know, there's no menus anymore. You got to take a picture of the thing. What? He goes, imagine explain that to Charlemagne and Pontius Pilate. He's like, it's a good thing we die. Like, get the fuck out of the way, you know? So it's awesome. And then he talks about gender fluidity and stuff. And I don't know. I thought it was great, man. I thought he rode the line so well. I love him. Well, that was a little much. Maybe I don't love him. But I don't know, man. I guess it's fine. He's still able to do his thing, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. He's not like destitute or poor or in jail. So he made some mistakes. He learned from them. He should never have done them. And yeah, this is fine. He has to release his stuff all on his own. It's not like Netflix is going to take him. So I'm sure it ends up, you know, he's not making nearly what he used to make. So, you know, I guess you live and you learn. But I don't think that he's somebody who should be like hated forever, in my opinion. I guess you can if you want to. But, you know, I was just talking to my buddy about this, and he was like, you know, like if somebody murders somebody and they get out of jail, they're like, I don't know, maybe Louis doesn't get it so bad. Maybe I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I do really like him, and I think he's the best stand-up I've seen in my life. Him and Chappelle, for sure. And I just wish he could have a TV show, I think, and make movies, you know, because those are the things he'll probably won't be able to do because it costs too much. But his show could have had like 6 to 10 seasons and still been great because of the way he set it up. But anyway, okay, I guess we'll do a little music and see what happens there. Okay. Hit me up, Lou, if you watch this. Wasn't it a good review? Whew. Thanks for the BC reference. That's where I teach. Go Eagles. Yeah! That's not what we do. All right, I got to pull my dog out. See you later, guys.